whenever you're ready.
Hey guys, it's me. As you know, we may have some snow coming, so we're going to go ahead and record this for Wednesday in case any of you want to listen to it. So the topic that I picked was how to reduce your anxiety. That's kind of a topic in my life, so that kind of spoke to me. First of all, what is anxiety? You know, an easy word to say is worry. It's really worrying about stuff, and we all have things that we worry about in our life. Actually, they say there's 40 million adults that deal with anxiety, and they say there's actually more high schoolers than that deal with anxiety. So I want you to know that if that is your struggle, that you worry with things, that's pretty normal. You know, a lot of people are doing that, and so it doesn't make you bad, it doesn't make you strange, it doesn't make you weird, it makes you human. So I was just going to talk a little bit about my story. So about 12 years ago, I started a business, and I work with people with special needs, and it kind of grew pretty quick. Some people had asked me to take care of their people, and all of a sudden I found myself with like 3 different houses I was managing. So new things for me. I had been a mom at home managing everything, but never thought to be a business owner. And here I was, never took any business classes. So we were hiring a lot of people, training a lot of people, that sort of thing. And then some weird stuff started happening in my body. I would wake up in the middle of the night and feel like I had to throw up, which was weird, you know. So at first I thought, well, maybe I was getting the flu kind of stuff, but you know, then it would just keep happening at different times. And why it would happen in the middle of the night when I'm sound asleep, I would think I was sleeping soundly and I was comfortable, and then all of a sudden it's waking me up. It would be having to be on the toilet, the other side of me. And with the stomach hurting, then I wouldn't eat, you know. So there were, the only positive thing probably was losing some weight, but obviously that's not a positive way to lose weight. There would be lots of mornings where I would be up crying in my bedroom, and I would beg John for help because I couldn't keep up with all of it. Hiring staff, going through COVID, staff shortages, a lot of that just kept eating at me. So John stepped down from the hospital and came home and helped, which helped a lot. So part of it is asking for help. You know, what are your worries? What can you do about it? And who can help you with that? You know, sometimes you just actually have too much on your plate. So that helped a lot when John came home and took out a lot of the paperwork and stuff. But the pattern now has really changed for me. And the pattern has been, God always makes it work. It may not be on my time. I may not get staff on that first week or the second week. It might take me a month. But I have staff that want to cover it. I can cover it. My husband can cover it. There just is always... It has always worked out. We're into like 12 years of this now, and you know, I just trust. I give it to God. I give it to God. Every time it comes up in me, I just keep giving it to God. So since you guys aren't here, I can't really ask for your feedback on what makes you worry. Although I've raised 7 kids, so I think I have a pretty good idea. Some would be going to prom, what you're gonna wear, what you're doing in high school, what classes are you taking, what tests do you have this week, the assignments you didn't get done, the math you don't understand, what is your weight, what is your height, what are your zits doing today, what are your teeth looking like, who's getting braces, what color hair are you dyeing your hair. There's all sorts of things that we worry about. It could be issues at home with your family. Are your parents struggling? Are they fighting? Are they getting divorced? Do you have a new baby in the house? I mean, there's lots of things that we worry about. We worry a lot about our clothes. You know, do I have the right clothes? Do people like my clothes? Did I get them from the right store? Do I have money to buy clothes? My job, what do I have for a job? Where can I find a job? I'm 15 and I need some money. Can I find a job? Filling out college applicants. We're doing that right now. The ACT scores. What are you going to do when you graduate? Are you going to college? Are you getting a job? What is your career? I mean, there's just so much that we can choose to worry about from day-to-day basis. I bet if you guys sat for a minute, you could easily come up with 3 or 4 things right now that you have on your plate that you're worrying about. Sports would be another big one for a lot of you. Can I get those touchdowns this Friday? Did I make the shots at the game? Am I starting? Did I get benched? Why did I get benched? Why did I foul out? Lots of questions and lots of worries that we deal with. So the one thing that when I'm reading this is that no one can force you to worry. That's a choice. Okay, so that's a big thing. No one's forcing you to worry. But I will say that Satan likes to put things in your mind, likes to put thoughts in your mind. So a big thing is who's putting thoughts in your mind. Is Satan telling you that you're stupid and you're not going to pass that test? Is he telling you that you can't possibly date that boy, he's out of your league, that sort of thing. So part of it is trying to take care of the thoughts, taking your thoughts captive. And who is putting these thoughts in your mind? Is Satan putting thoughts in your mind, or is God putting thoughts in your mind? Another way you can do it is when a negative thought comes about yourself, using God's word to take care of that. So, you're really ugly and no one's going to want to ever kiss you. Well, God's word would say he doesn't make junk. God would say he loves you. God would say he knew the amount of hairs you had on the head before you were born, and he has a purpose for you. So sometimes knowing God's word helps you combat the negative thoughts that come into your mind. There's a very popular book called The Battlefield of the Mind, and it talks all about what are the thoughts coming in your mind. Half the time we're not even aware of the thoughts, but we're definitely reacting to the thoughts. We're thinking, well, she just whispered to her and she said something bad about me. And we just assume that they're saying something bad about us. We didn't even hear the conversation. So again, that's a thought from Satan. He wants you to feel bad about yourself. He wants you to spiral down. He wants you to hit rock bottom. But then you have the thoughts of God on the other side. So what are thoughts of God that God would tell you? He would tell you that you're beautiful. He would tell you that you're perfect. He would tell you that he's special. He would tell you that he loves you, that God's word is full of compliments of how much he loves his children. So being aware of your thoughts is a huge one with your anxiety. So worrying is also bad for your health and bad for your soul. When you worry, it just has stress on your body and it wears you down. So a lot of it is we forget about what God has done for us because we're so stuck in the worry, and we forget about what he can do for us because we're stuck in the worry. So again, settle yourself. Where are you at? Who is God in your life? What can God do for you? Okay. Sometimes it's surrounding yourself by some friends or your parent or someone that can give you comfort. So say we're going to go on a missions trip and you're worried about going. So, if my mom comes, then I would have some security because someone I know and trust will be there. If my best friend comes, I would have someone there. So sometimes just surrounding yourself by people that know and love you, and they're going to, help you if you have some issues with that. The other thing to think about, is there a pattern in your life of God helping things work out for you? So what I saw is no matter how much I worried about staff, it always worked out. Might not have been exactly the time I wanted it to, but it always worked out. If I had people quit, it always worked out that I found someone else. If I had staff that had COVID and were out for 10 days, it always worked out. So this pattern across all these years has made my faith so much stronger that I can back off and say, I know God has this, and the special thing is that my son also works with me. And so he started struggling with some of the same anxieties. And he says, well, how do you do it, Mom? And I said, I do it because I trust in God. And I keep trusting, and I keep trusting, and I keep trusting. So every time the thoughts come in my head or my stomach starts to hurt, I will pray and I will give it to God. And I will thank him. Gratitude is huge. I thank him all the time for the wonderful staff that I've found, that he's sent me, for the wonderful clients that he has sent me to care for. He's just always there. He's got my back all the time. And there's years worth of patterns that prove that to me. So sometimes when things happen, say you break up with your boyfriend and you're sure you're gonna die. and you're crying and you're upset and you're hanging with your friends and all this kind of stuff. And 6 months down the road, you're dating someone that's you like a whole lot better and much better for you. So again, trusting in God's plan. You will get through the ugly and God will help you through it. And then there's the beauty that comes on the other side, kind of like the storm with the rainbow. What comes on the other side kind of thing. Some helpful tips would be, again, looking around yourself for the blessings. That's something really big in my life because God has blessed me in so many ways. My health, blessing me with my health. A lot of you young guys don't think about that. But when you can get up and go to track practice and do 2 things of football and play in gym and do all this kind of stuff, God has really been wonderful to you with your health. Nature, taking a walk in nature can help you. God has gifted us with beauty all around us. Your family, your safety of your home, the fact that your parents have a job and can support you, or you have a job, all those are just blessings that God just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling upon us. Your church is a blessing, a place to go and worship God without being afraid. So looking for the blessings and telling God about the blessings. What are the blessings to you? Thanking Him, really with your heart. Listening to God's word or listening to worship music. That was a big one for me, listening to worship music. When I was struggling, my stomach was hurting, I would find a quiet spot and I would put on my favorite worship songs. And a lot, again, that would help take the thoughts out of my head and singing to Jesus and praising Jesus. And I know it might sound hokey, but that was my happy spot. Also focusing on different things that make me happy. There's a waterfall that I went to years ago, and that's something, picturing something. I really picture the day we walked there, we walked into the water, we stood underneath the waterfall. I could feel it on my back. It was probably 50 feet up and it was painful. And we stood underneath that power of that waterfall kind of thing. So a lot of times when I'm struggling, I will picture that day and I just kind of keep running it through my mind and how beautiful it was, and the glory of God and that beautiful, powerful waterfall. So sometimes what can you picture that will help take your mind away from these thoughts that you're having? And again, we've talked about before, the other one is conquering your thoughts, being aware of your thoughts and doing something about them. Capsize, and what do I say? Again, if you got these negative thoughts, how can I turn it into God's words? God wouldn't say I'm ugly. God wouldn't say I'm stupid. God wouldn't say I'm dumb. God wouldn't say, I'm this. Whatever those words are for you, God would not ever say that about you. And you have to believe in that, and you have to replace those with God's words. Kind of ending. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Philippians 4:6, actually God's word from the Bible. The first thing it says is do not be anxious. It doesn't say it's okay if you do it sometimes. It says do not. Do not, right in the Bible. They're telling us it's kind of like, the 10 Commandments, don't murder. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, in prayer and supplication, with a thankful heart, let your requests be known to God. So that's kind of a long verse, but basically it says, don't worry. Give it to God. Give it to God. And it says, with a thankful heart, tell God what you need. I'm so thankful for the staff that you've sent me, Lord. I need another staff. I need some more of that wonderful blessings that you've given me. I need an afternoon 3 to 11 staff. Be specific with what you need. And keep praying it and knowing in your heart that it's coming, Worrying is also a temptation, definite temptation from Satan, just like, being peer pressured into smoking or drinking or whatever. Worrying is a temptation. So if you're choosing to worry, basically you're following the Satan again. So be very, have a lot of thought process about that. It's not going to go away. It's not going to go away when you graduate from high school. It's not going to go away when you get married. It's not going to go away when you find the perfect career. It's not going to go away when you find the perfect guy. There's always going to be things in life we can choose to worry about and get anxious about if we choose. So again, capture your thoughts, give it to God, use God's word to help it, tell him, just stay away from me, Satan. Just stay away. 2 Corinthians 10:5 says, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. So every thought that you know that is not from God, wrap it in and give it to God. Wrap it in, give it to God. Bring it into captivity and give it to God. Faith is our powerful key to overcoming Satan. So again, faith in God, trusting in God, loving in God, helps your anxiety settle and simmer and eventually go away. That's all I got.